I have it on mute. Okay. For some reason, it muted. There's so much fun that's when it comes to technical. I was like really jamming. Thank you for being here. Can you hear me now? Let me know. Let me know. I am actually live right now on YouTube and I pre-scheduled it. It was a test. So it's showing that the mic is on. Let me know if you can hear me. Yes, yes, or no. Because I had it on, it was muted, but I don't want to keep going if you guys can't hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Okay, sound good. All right, awesome. At least on YouTube. I am actually on Treasure, you're on YouTube, right? I believe so. Yeah, it says YouTube. I am trying to also do this on Facebook and on LinkedIn, my first time. And I pre-scheduled. So I'm using a program or a company called Riverside. Love their podcasting. They're getting into the actual streaming, which you guys know I love. I love streaming. I love chatting with you. And yeah, so he says, sounds good. There's Treasure Maze, which is Scott. Oh, and Wallace is here. Yay! Wallace is here. Yes, this is gonna be a great podcast, you guys. At least I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that my tech doesn't go crazy because if any of you guys right now, it's all rocking YouTube. I see 3 lives. So if any of you guys are on Facebook, which I believe is my profile, not my business. I couldn't get it connected, so I have Riverside helping me with that. So hello, Facebook, and hello, LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is the first time too. So if you guys are new, let me know if you're new here. I would love to say hi. These are my friends, and I'm enjoying this podcast, which is live every Tuesday. But we're going to talk about time. So I will look at the chat in a second because I want to make sure I did not really get a hold of this. I use Canva. Some of you guys know that if you want to market your work, Canva rocks, CANVA.com. This is where we have this goodies right here, which tells you that I'm here every Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. And I'm streaming now on, again, YouTube and Facebook, but Facebook, I couldn't get the page going. I always say just go scrappy, do it. Just get on. It's scary when we're trying to market ourselves. It's scary when we're trying to have a business, but just get on there and do it if you're passionate about what you're doing. And I'm passionate about talking to you guys about building your business, taking your passion to profit, photographers. So that is where I'm at. And I'm on LinkedIn. So if anybody is on LinkedIn, say hi in the chat. I will come back. I will check it out. And I would love to see if you guys are actually seeing me because I just barely put it out yesterday on LinkedIn. And honestly, this also was not really pushed out. Just my email list has really been pushed out because I didn't know if it was going to work. Every single time I've been on here, it hasn't been able to schedule. But you know what? Like I say, let's just do it, right? So, the last, this is what we're going to talk about today. What I'm doing is I'm connecting with you guys. I want to see the chats and talk to you guys. And we're going to talk about your time. Your time is money. The time that we do, the time that you really focus on your business, doing it in a really thoughtful way so you could photograph and create and do all that kind of stuff. Last week I talked about goals and setting these big picture goals for yourself on what you want to do. It's a new year. Let's do goals. If you don't have a goal and you don't write it down, you're not going to do anything. So let's do stuff, you guys. That's what I love about coming here live because I can answer questions. I'm going to go through what I have done once I start the podcast, and then I'll look through the chat afterwards too, to answer your questions. And hopefully more people will join. If not, it's okay because, again, I'm just starting this podcast and I'm here for you. We used to do this whenever we would have a party like Christmas or New Year's, and somebody would say in the family or friends and say, "Oh, well, not very many people are coming." Like it was a bad thing. I'm like, you know what? Whoever comes is the party. Whoever comes and shows up rocks, right? We rock. All right. So I want to talk about I want to get right into it because there's a lot of stuff that I feel that is really important. So what I'm going to do is I'll start with a little intro. And you know what I've been doing also too is I have I go through all of this and cut it up and make it better on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon Music and Amazon Audible. So it's all live on there. But I like to look at what's going on, and if you guys have questions or what some input too that you may have for other photographers, whoever other creators to build your passion, we're here together. That's what this space is for us to be together. Because I see too much of the wedding photographers or the headshots or these or even of there's a lot of photographers that do studio, which I used to do too, studio photography, and they all support each other. And I don't see as many when it comes to the business side. We support each other when it comes to photographing and making creative work, which is from our soul. But I want to take that to another level. You get to a point in your life where you're like, okay, this is great and I'm doing all this work, but I want to touch others. And that's what this podcast is about. And so I hear a lot, which I was to always using the mindset of time. So in this episode, we're really going to dive in to focusing on what works for your time to get things done right. And I wrote down some notes because I want to make sure that I don't forget things because as we get older, I will use that older thing. As we get older, I don't remember everything that I want to tell you because my journey may be like yours. So when I first started photography and really focused on the business, obviously I was working full time. So let's just give you a little overview. Think about yourself because what I did in the marketing, we have a marketing group in Facebook, and I asked them, this week, what I want you to do is I want you to go through the actual week that you are in, that you're watching this podcast, but over there, they're watching it now, or they are actually working on their marketing. Go through this week and really pay attention to everything that you do in time with your time. You'll be really surprised on the things that you do and the time that it takes to do things in your life, everything, business, uh, going on social media, all the things that you do, cleaning your house, doing the wash, everything. We have 24 hours. So it's a good way to start this. And you may think, oh my gosh, that's such a pain. It worked for me. If you don't want to do a whole week, do 3 days and you'll be surprised. But I used to, when before, I had my photography business. I worked full time at University of Laverne. Married, raised 2 kids, and did the animals and did all that within that time frame. So, and I'm a person that squirrels around. So that's it, going shiny object syndrome, going here, going there, and I had to control that. And I've done a good job controlling it. And I say this not just to be like, "Oh, hey," but I want you to know I've accomplished goals. I've made front pages, my images have been on top outdoor photographer. I've been featured in Photo Shelter. I've had um, a variety of companies in Los Angeles interview me and my daughter when we worked in Sullivan J Photography. I've done so much in my life that has made me happy. That's what I want you to be. I want you to be happy. Even if you are just starting off with your passion to profit, I want you to be happy and focused to get things done quickly and the goals that we just talked about last week done. And the only way you could do them is through the time management stuff. So I'm going to give you some great tips today that what I do when it comes to photography, when it comes to business, when it comes to adding value for what you do. That's what I want to share with you today. And if you have something that's really awesome, I, of course, put in the chat. I will put you up because, again, this is a support place for us all. Okay, so I want to really focus on a lot of us think that when we're doing a lot, that that's really good work, and because we're so busy, and oh my gosh, we're so busy in our mind, and we're just doing this, and we're doing social media, and we're doing all this stuff, that we feel like how come we're not succeeding in what we want to do. And a lot of the times it's just doing the work and not really focus on what is the goal for the work that needs to be done. So in between, I'll give you examples of with me. So I would get up in the morning, husband go to work, kids getting ready for school. I get up even before them and I work on my business and I would focus and I would say, okay, I want to connect to these people. How am I going to do that? So I set a time frame and I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and spend some time to actually get to know. And I was on LinkedIn. That's why I was on. I'm like, I'm hoping LinkedIn's here. I haven't seen anybody like it's just YouTube. I haven't seen very many people chatting. So I would love for you guys to come in. Maybe later I'll check the comments. I will check the comments later to see if it actually worked. But I want to get to these things. So I would go on to LinkedIn and make connections. And I feel like as you are working on social, it's not about this is, I always drive this or put this into the brains of people that I coach is when you work on social and connections, you pre think about who you want to talk to, what why do you wanna talk to them? Why do you wanna connect? Is it a business person that you want to a business to business, if you wanna work business to business, or is it somebody that maybe that is like B&H, it's a company that, I'm affiliated with, or Adobe, different things that you could think about. But when you push content out, when you connect with people, sometimes what a lot of photographers will do is just push it out and they just leave, and it's not about that. So I want you to think about actually focusing on what you want to put out to attract people that you these are newbies, or if you're connecting to people that are warm that you already know. And then go and look around and make sure you comment because it's not about being spammy, it's about really getting to know people. I used an email and I used an email list, and when I before I pushed that button, my time was focused on what did I wanna say to them? Not just, "Oh, here, look at me, I'm awesome." No, how can we have, like, a regular relationship? I want you to think about, like, even though it's social media and you're not physically talking to somebody, I want you to think that way. It's kind of like your ideal customer avatar. If you don't know what that is, we'll talk about that in the future, but you want to talk to the person. You want this is a human being. Every single person is very important, and a lot of photographers are like, "I don't have that many people on my list." How many do you have? 10? Do you know that's 10 human beings that said, "Hey, I like what you do and you should connect to them." So, when you like let's do Instagram now. When you focus on Instagram, you want to show your images, make sure that you take the time to be productive. Don't just put the image out and say, "Here it is." Why are you putting it out? What are the stories that gonna attract the people that you really wanna attract? And then go and if somebody comments, pay attention and go look at their feed and comment them. And if they're a great person that you wanna connect with, follow them. You know, excuse me. I've been getting a lot of people in Facebook that have been asking to for friends, to be friends. And I actually physically go through and see, are they photographers? Are these people that are my people? Because remember, we don't want to just go and sell to everyone. So be productive and get the right people that you truly like and follow them. And you know, make messages or not make, but type some messages or even something on the side like, "Hey, this is really cool. I just love what you do." So I'm saying, no, don't just throw the work out and be busy. Be productive with your time when you actually get into the social. Now, I want to also say about being productive is editing photography, which I do have in my notes over here how to do systems. But I'm going to talk about being productive with your photography right off the bat. So, one of the things that I noticed for myself, and you would be really surprised, is post processing. So, for me, I love to post process, but I would do the same things over and over again. So, I made myself presets and I made myself, I did also did I always forget the name of it and I put it on here because I it's not presets. I made myself yeah, let me see what it's called. I always and it's something very easy. If you guys know Photoshop, I would do it again and I wrote myself a note because I said I know I'm going to um print no, what is it? Oh my gosh. When you do the Photoshop actions, geez Louise, I told you I'm getting older. Actions. You make Photoshop actions. So if you're doing your post processing and you do something the same all the time, like you're shooting raw and you want, the same thing, don't do it every single time. That you'd be surprised. Every little piece of time that you do in social or post processing makes a huge difference in your life. That's why I feel like, yeah, let's create work, but if you're doing the same thing as, your contrast and making your image the way you want it to feel, right? You have your own feelings. Learn how to do action steps and make presets of your own. This way it's done faster and then you can even go a step forward to make those images because you have more time. That's the whole thing. Another thing I want to say, oh, okay. We'll go into raising some I want to talk about raising rates a little bit, but I want to give you an action step every time. There's three things that we're talking about today. So, how to stop confusing the busy work to make it more productive. Have a plan. Have a plan. And so, I want you to think about one thing that you can stop that's keeping you busy and not productive in your week or the 3 days that you're actually focused on this. I like even this I have a couple things going on. I have a launch going on. I'm redoing videos for my coaching with AI. Some of you know about that. So my grandkids were over and I wanted to play with them. So I played with them and in my mind I even said, "Okay, grandma's got to do," and I say out loud, "Grandma's got to do writing up for my next video. Grandma's got to do getting ready for my launch." Whatever it is, and I actually say to myself every morning, "Today, I want to do this and this. Tomorrow, and if I get it done, great. Tomorrow, I need to do this and this." And that stops me from going out to Instagram and being there for hours looking for photographers that give me some fun, creative spins to my work. Because is that making me money right now? Is that helping my clients right now? No. So if I wanna do that, then I say, "Okay, I'll do that, but I'm not gonna spend time with my grandchildren." Well, sorry, grandchildren first, family first, family first. And then so you have to prioritize what you're doing and think about it because that's what happens is we're all over the place. I have a little frog in my throat for some reason. All right, I'll cut that off. So think about that. We're going to talk about raising rates before I go into the third thing. The reason why I want to talk about raising rates, I usually, so I want to talk about raising rates because you may have to raise your rates if you're selling. So this is what I did. Pay attention to how long it takes to photograph your piece, how much it how long is it taking to post process your work and do everything, even just the tags and whatever else that you're doing. But can you hear my frog, you guys? Hey, Kathy. Great. Thanks. Um, so every so everything that we do, I think photographers and creatives, what we do is like this is from our soul. This is I love to do this. This makes me feel good. And yeah, it does. It sure does. That's why we do it. But I want you to pay attention in your mind and write it down, not in your mind. I want you to write it down like, hey, how long did it take to shoot? How long did it take to cull? How long did it cull through it? Go through your images. How long did it take to process your work? How long did it take to add your metadata? Hopefully, we'll talk about that third, getting things done quickly with that. But though that's time. That's time that you're doing for that piece. And we as creatives don't pay attention as if you were going to work. When I went to work at University of Laverne, I got paid a certain amount of money for my time. Well, are a business entrepreneur. You should be paid for your time. Now, if you feel that what you're selling is not worth the money and the time that you're putting into it, you either need to get those presets done and get those actions done to do things quickly, or you could add more value that is not that's easier or already pre-done for your offer or service. So this is something where you could raise your prices because you're realizing I'm not really getting the money that I want. And what people pay is for feelings and the value that they get from you. So we're going to talk about value. Now, sometimes photographers want to just put their images out and then you could just buy a print and then, hey, thank you for thanks for buying the print. Well, how much value do you think that the person's going to get? Yes, what you've made is really good, but again, we're talking too that you're not making the money hourly that you truly want to make. So maybe you could have something that they can get with the purchase that's already pre-done. Like I mentioned in the podcast, easy in Canva to make a calendar that is already pre-done. You could tell them you're getting this as a downloadable or you can print it, whatever it is. But think about your clients and what they would want. I personally would have mugs for my clients. So I would always give them a mug with goodies inside it, and it had the image that they licensed, and I wrapped it really nice, and it had my website, and what's nice about it, every single person, wasn't very expensive, but every single time I always got, thank you so much. I get an email back, thank you so much. And I didn't say that they were going to get it. This was later. But in the beginning, obviously, you have to say, hey, this is what you get with this. You get a customized, you know, PDF on how to hang it, or I will get on Zoom with you and we could talk about the different ways to print, on where you want to put it. Just think in your mind different things. So add more value and it won't take as much time because it's already pre-done. Yes, in the beginning, you're going to say, well, Jess, I have to do that. Yeah, you do. But if you're scrolling around and you're not getting the money that you want, and then take the time and say, okay, this is my priority. I need to add more value to my offer or service. What can I do? Let's brainstorm with my clients or use chat gtp to give you ideas and just get it done, and it's always for the client. And then okay, I'm just going to add even a little bit more. They get that value, and then after, give them a fun thing, like maybe my mug idea. Don't tell them about the mug. So give them something fun, maybe a calendar or some pads that they can write. This is what you get with it, or framing, or I'll connect with you, or whatever it is, and then add it later, and they'll be like super excited. And then they'll tell you, hey, go over here to Janice. Go over here to Kathy and Wallace and Scott and make the and they give me more feelings and good value to what I'm purchasing. And the time is already done. You've already done it. Just do it and then you can raise your rates because that time is really important. Everything that we do is the time is money. Time is money. You have to instill that into your brain. Time is money. So I would like to challenge you. One way to add value to your service and raise your rates accordingly. Okay? So don't go all crazy now. Just if you're not getting the money that you really appreciate it or really want, if you say that you've only sold one piece or maybe you haven't sold anything, then you need to add more value because if you're like everyone else, which is the Red Sea, then everybody else is the same. Your imagery or your artwork has to be so different and so unique that they will buy from you. I am not different. I am not unique. I made my business unique and you could do it too. And the time doesn't, it's so easy once you already have it done. Just add 1 or 2 things, okay? I don't want you guys going all crazy. The third thing that I wanna talk about, which is really, really important when it comes to time, and it's not sexy because we are creators and we love to create, we like to feel all good, but it's more about being, systems, and I could not live without this. I'm leaving this 3rd part to the last because it's so important. Yes, we talked about doing the work for, post processing and making money on the side. But this is so important for me, especially because, like I told you before, I, especially back when I was, younger, I have more time now. But a lot of people, well, actually, it's funny. I don't know about you guys, but as I've gotten older too, my aunt and I had said, she's retired. She's like, Why do I not have enough time?" Because the grandchildren are around. Because we're always playing with the grandchildren. We're always doing something, and it's fun, and I love it. So I can't say that. I'm glad that I instilled this within my life, and I want this for you too, is to give yourself really more freedom. So it's like tools that I use is calendar. It's I'll just say right now, Co-Schedule and Calendly for me. I'll tell you what it's about, but there's another one that I saw that was really good. So what we do is we create, let's just say social media that we want to get out. I was telling you about the being smart about it, focused. Instead of just saying, "Oh, today I gotta push the button. Oh, today I gotta write it today," you just take a day, say 3 hours, 4 hours, and say, "For this week, I'm gonna push this out." And you can use a company like CoSchedule. They're really, really good. And we pop in the information to the calendar, like I've been popping in things, and then all you have to do is schedule a time frame. So just say, this is what I always say too, try to pick a time. I used to do Floral Fridays in Sullivan J Photography. So let's just use me for an example. Every Friday for sure I had an image was for Floral Friday and it went out. So if you want to do once a week or more than that, just make sure that try to be scheduled, because what you want to do again is you get it all scheduled out, and then all you have to do is go back, at 3 p.m. on Instagram. I'm going to put this image out because it's already scheduled. It's there. You're ready to get on. And then this way, you don't have to be stressed out about writing all this stuff. That's one of the problems with time, is that what am I going to talk about? What am I going to think about? What am I going to write? I don't know. So you just get a schedule, think about what you want to push out, get it all done. So all you have to do is just go in and have fun, which is fun. Say, I'm actually going in on Instagram at 3 o'clock to go see other people that likes flowers like mine. Those are my clients. if you don't want to talk to other photographers if they're not your clients. So you want to connect to people that are your clients. So say if you're in the hospitality industry, then you go to the hospitality industry and you start looking and commenting and taking time to connect with them. You just put something out on Instagram. What happens is they'll say, "Oh, hey, Janice just comment. Let me see what she's been doing." Click on my Instagram, and then they see a brand new post of a flower that I just pushed out to the world on Instagram, right? So it's more productive. Co-schedule rocks. I love it. I love it. It even has an area on there which most of these programs do or these companies do now where it could say you just can push what's the best time that this image should go out, because I don't do that because I always wanted a certain time that people knew I was pushing out my image, and it was at 3 o'clock on Friday, Floral Friday, Floral Friday. So I like that. I and also Calendly is a great calendar for you if you are a photographer or creative that likes to say interview or talk to clients that you want to get to know better to see what they like, what they don't like. I use it all the time for interviewing, and it works really well. So I have everything organized, and I'm a Google girl. Google's really good, but I want to share with you, I think I found this company and I probably would use this if I didn't have my Google. It's called Honeybook, and what it does contracts, invoices, and it does bookings. So it's like all in one, which I love. I haven't used them, so I'm not going to say that they're the greatest. I actually use ClickFunnels. The reason why I like to have everything in one, because it's easy. One step. I don't have to go over here to book a call with somebody that I want to talk to. I don't have to do an email over here, email service, because I'm doing email. So it's just taking what you do and what you want to do, which is you should be starting to build an email list. That is, TikTok went down. Hey, you know what? Let me just tell you this. I always say this to my clients: get an email going, because their social will go, if something goes down, you still have the people who really like what you do. Email is everything. And I remember back in the days they said, "Oh, don't worry about email. Email is the day." You can write all your emails and schedule them out. So that is really that I love. Like I say, I love ClickFunnels because I have my website there. I have my email there. I have a calendar there. I have, oh my gosh, it's just the greatest. It's the greatest. So, yes, I could probably get it a little bit cheaper, just a little bit cheaper if I went to the different companies, but time, I understand, and I want you to understand, time is everything. If you have a place that you can have your invoices, you can have your contracts, if that's what you're doing, if it comes to licensing, that's perfect. Again, I use Google. I have a I use Google Drive. My Google Drive has everything. But that's because I've had someone design my contracts. I've had someone help me when it comes to the invoices. I don't know how to do all that stuff. I know how to photograph, but I did get help with all that stuff. So, systems, co-schedule's really good. It's a system. It's a way to actually get all your socials done get and what happens, I'll say this too about your time. What happens is when you schedule this stuff off and you're not physically or in Facebook or Instagram or wherever you're hanging out, it's works so good because you're not in the actual, social media area. When you're in that social media area, you should be there for one thing, to connect to your clients and be inspired with other photographers. And to connect with, peers. But what happens is we start going to ooh, that's a great place to go. So we just go away from the business side. If you want to play, it should really honestly be within a time frame when it comes to social. And I time myself. If I've said to myself, I'm going to be on social just for fun, then I either have done the goal sets that I wanted to do for the day, because that's what makes the business run, and then I go and play. And a lot of times, like, my best friends, "Hey, have you seen this?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't I'm not even in Facebook, honestly, to see the latest and greatest unless I have time," which is kinda rare. But that's why I feel like I could get things done, and I feel like you can too, and it still could be fun. It's just not fun to set the system up in the beginning. I get it, because I would rather be pushing that shutter button, but once you have that system done and have everything scheduled, it feels so good. I'm telling you, it feels good. So I want to challenge you to create one system today that will give you more time for creativity. Because everything that I've talked about today, which is the presets or the batch processing or the social media post or getting yourself with invoices or contracts, everything that I've talked to you today will give you more time so you can have more creativity. It really does. It really, really does work. And I hope that I've helped you on how I've done it. I did go back saying how I would go and work before the kids went, and then I went to work, and in my lunch break, I would take 10 or 15 minutes, go in the back room, and do things that I said, "I need to do this and this today." And then I came home and I made dinner and I spent time with the hubby and the kids. And then I said, "Okay, I need another hour to go do, I want this and this done today." Just pick 2 things, don't get too crazy on yourself, and you'll be so surprised by the end of the week. You go through everything that you have done, and I love to do these little things on my write it down and check, check. I don't know what it is, but it's a good feeling to say, "I did this, check. I did this, check. I did this, check." It feels so good, and you'll realize that your time is more efficient so you can make money. All right. Let's see. Do you have any questions? Did I make sense? How are you doing? Let's see. Website analysis. Which one, Janice? So, yes. So, in my ClickFunnels, everything is already analyzed. But let's just say that if you are doing like a WordPress, I had there's plugins that you can do for search engine, and it gives you also the analyzing on how many hits, and also the plugin. I'm trying to remember the plugin. There's a couple big plugins that are really, really good. Let me see if I can say. I'll tell you the ones that I used. Let me go look, because I don't use WordPress.org anymore. So let's see plugins. And I like the search engine, even though I know you're saying I'll just say we're, because if you're in like Spotify or you're doing something like that, they'll have it in there. But I want to share with you. Let's see what this one is. 'Cause there's new ones out. Because 'cause I'm older now, I don't know, let me make sure. Yeah, I think it was Yoast. Was it Yo Yep, here it's still here. Yoast, SEO. So, okay, so one of the things that I did was, um, my Sullivan J Photography was top one of the top 15, and I used Yoast because I used WordPress.com .org back then, and the reason why is because I w I was more concerned on getting it out into search engine optimization, and I knew that I needed it to be up on the ladder on websites. So the websites, let me just make sure I understand. Oh, well, yeah. So, okay, so analysis of your website. So Yoast is something that I really liked, again, for search engine. And there's a thing called heat map. I'm going to tell you this. So you could have people coming to your heat map website. Yes. So you look for heat map websites. Yes, heatmap.com. Let's see if I can get that for you guys. Let's see if I'll put that in the chat. Oh, yeah, yeah. I'll have to put it underneath this post because, yeah, I'll have to put it underneath this. But there's a heat map that works really good because you can have people come and you can see how many people hit your website, what pages they went to. But the heat map is awesome because what it does is it shows it at the top, like how many, how well, like if people are. Let me just get my thoughts. People are looking and then they scroll to the bottom of your website where it gets blue is cold. So in the very beginning, it's all good, good, good. So you can kind of see what is resonating with people. You can see what's not kind of, you can see what's resonating with them. So a heat map, look at heat maps. And instead of looking at analysis, which is good, I would really focus on search engine because when you get something like Yoast as a plugin, then what you could do is it pushes it out. But I will say, and I will say this to I'm blue in the face, your website will not go up or hit newbies unless you're pushing them out if you don't continually do something with that website like a blog. A lot of people don't like to do a blog. You don't have to write a lot. Maybe just put what you're doing, connect with your clients there. What a blog is doing is telling the algorithms, Google, which is the highest one, that your website is alive. So if you don't have any hits or people are not coming or you're not putting new information, they will put you at the bottom of the barrel. That's the way it is. So, yeah, continually have to nurture your websites. But that's okay because if you're on social, send people to your website and say, "Hey, you want more information about this? Come check it out here." And it really does work because what happened when I was shocked actually when I found a lot of things I find out about myself. I'm like, "Oh, wow, I had no idea." Because they don't email you and say, "Hey, you're one of the top people." It's like sometimes my husband or my friends say, "Hey, I saw you." And I'm like, "Really?" So I know that's bad, but that's the truth. I tell you everything that's the truth here. I don't sit there and say, "Oh, I'm gonna really do this one on." I was just having fun. So, but you really it's good to be able to be up high because then people will find you and see what you're up to. So, that's on that. Let's see. LinkedIn is LinkedIn is good for time. So LinkedIn is good when you want to work business to business. I loved LinkedIn because I knew that I wanted to work with businesses. I had worked with clients before and that was fun, but I wanted to be in the realm of licensing and doing that type of work. And I knew by doing some researching on my own on the companies that I wanted to hit, and I knew they were on LinkedIn. So if you are a person that loves to work with other businesses, LinkedIn is the key. It is so much so and if people are so nice there. But if your clients are not there, then you need, hey, you might like LinkedIn, but is it really being this could be something with time if it's not productive, then it's time to move to another platform if if you are doing the social connections. So some people actually go to the art fairs and do that kind of connection. They're actually physically doing things. So and then they'll be on Facebook and, "Hey, I'm on Facebook. Let's meet up on Facebook," that type of thing. Or again, as photographers, there's a lot of people that like Instagram. Let's see. 65 per image for copyright is better. Thanks for website. Copy and clone scary. Oh, are you talking about okay, copyrights? It costs $65 per image for copyright. So I'm going to tell you the truth about me. I've only copyrighted several of my images, and the only reason why I did those is because they were so big and they were used that I had to. I don't copyright every single one of my images. If the image is very powerful and people love it, then I will copyright that image. Be This is the reason why. Some countries, I won't mention the countries, will take your image and they will use it for their products. There's been photographers that have happened where they have tried to sue these big companies in these other countries, and it cost the lawyers just as much, but they did it anyways because it was more of the ethical reason. Um, I just don't worry about that. Honestly, for me, because I'm working with clients business to business, so I really just, if I make my money that way, and if I do see something, I will go ahead and email them, which I have, and say, "Please take this down. You're infringing on my copyright." So, yeah, that is my thing, what I do, and I could be it should be yeah, if I wanted to copyright every single image, it would take so much of my time that it's not worth it for me. If y In the beginning, I was worried and I would put my logo on there, and then I realized that that there's no reason why I should have my logo on there unless it's just to tell people that this is who I am. It's not for copyright purposes because people know how to take it out. They're so good now when it comes to digital. Back in the days when it was just, it was harder to do when it first started, but now it's like people could just take that right off and you wouldn't even know, especially with AI now, it's even worse. It's horrible. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm glad. And of course, if I will cut up all my oops and ahs and all that fun stuff, but I love hanging out with you guys. And I wanted to share what I did and do to this day. And I'm hoping that it will inspire you to understand that the time that you have in your life for your creations and for your business, you can do this, and it's more about keeping it in mind. You're keeping your mind and focus on what you truly love. And remember, you guys, too, that I have always said too that you're doing this so you can actually make your profit out of what you love to do, so you could do this full time. And you if you if you have a reason why you really want to push this out, like I say that I focus everything that I do for my business goes out for clean air for my grandchildren. When I look at my grandchildren, I look at my business to continue and to not because I love what I do as a creator, but it goes beyond it. And I understand that if I am doodling around and not paying attention to what I need to focus on, that it won't get done. So I'm hoping that that has helped you for sure. All right. I think that's it. And I may have to add more stuff to the actual podcast. It takes me about a week to go through this and then cut it all out and then record it if I need extra stuff. But if you're interested in actually having some fun in marketing, which I truly love, and I like the blue ocean strategy, so I'm always pushing the photographers to step out of their comfort zone because that's what I do as I'm a blue ocean photographer, and definitely not I don't like to be with the Red Sea. I like to take chances, and I like to push you guys to take chances to do what you love. So, if you like podcasting and all that fun stuff, you could see me over in Apple, and there is a section on Spotify and Apple and all them to have you could write stuff in there. I didn't know that because I'm fairly new to podcasting and I always just listen, but you could see all of this stuff on photobizmethod.com and check out the blog. And now that I know that this is working with pre-doing, I could actually put this on and it's on my calendar and we can really meet up. And if you have other things that you want to talk about, I'm here doing it live with you guys. All right, with that said, I want to say goodbye and I will see you next Tuesday at 11:30. Cheers, everyone.